I'm going to take this time to teach y'all something. Okay. I'll give you an example. When you start seeing, say, what does that say? The Transnational Express. Okay, so what does Transnational Express? First off, that's rain. The second thing is, that's you that he's a transvestite. Okay. In order to work for a company like Transnational Express, you have to be a nene. Okay. They only hire nenes. Is it discrimination? Yeah, but so is murdering a whole nation of men. Okay. Another thing is, these people have sold their soul to the devil. Okay. So their numerical value is 6. They've sixed. They've sold their soul to LL. Okay. So their numerical value is 6. Okay. So when you see trucks as a legitimate man, if you was born into this world a man, such as myself, you're a real man. You hadn't went through any transition into a female or vice versa. You hadn't done anything like that. You're a legitimate man. You're going to notice, if you're a truck driver, for sure, you're going to notice when you get to places, trucks like that start rolling in. This is rain. And they get notified on their device where you are at all times, no matter where you go. If you go to Walmart, if you go to a truck stop, no matter where you go, they're notified on their devices. Boom. Google Maps shows them exactly, precisely your location. Okay? And these guys are able to come in and victimize and target you. Okay? This is rain. This is Bill and Emmy's rain. Okay? These are cowards that have sold their soul to the devil. Okay? Bill being the biblical antichrist, that is the devil. I want to get this guy before he leaves on camera. Okay? This dude right here, he's in a truck that says, you see those numbers right there that says 348. The 48. That would be me. They've sixed. They've sold their soul to the devil. So he came in and parked his truck beside me because I'm 8. I'm an 8. Okay? Another thing I want to point out to you is if you look in his mirror right here, and I'm going to try to zoom in, he has a cross with some rosary beads. Okay? First off, I want to enlighten you on the meaning of rosary beads. Okay? It doesn't have anything to do with the rosary. Beads represent a bee. What is a bee? A bee is a man that hasn't went through any transformation at all, that has blue eyes. Okay, first of all, let me explain to you, if you are born with blue eyes, you are a bee. You're a bee. You're a so-called bee. Okay? Another thing that I want you to understand is, I've already said this, but they have sixed, okay, which means they have sold their soul to the devil. They are low. Okay? Everything they do revolves around bees. Okay? Bees are so-called archangels. Okay? Bees have blue eyes. Okay? These cowards are trained to go out and hunt down bees and kill them. Okay? When I got to jail, there's different versions of the Quran. Okay? You have the Noble Quran, Noble, that says no Billy. Who are they worshiping? Bill. Ain't that what I just told you? LL. Okay? The biblical antichrist. So you have the Noble, Noble, that says Billy. You have the Noble Quran. Then you have the, I had a clear Quran. Okay. What the clear Quran is a form of literature. Clear is a form of literature. All of the literature is about. Now they're still playing with the connectivity on my device. Back to what I was saying. All of the literature inside of the clear Quran is about methamphetamine. That's why it's called a clear Quran. Okay. Now there's two different spellings of Quran. One is Quran and the other one is Korane. Okay. The Noble Quran is Quran, Korane. The other version of the Quran are however the fuck you spell Quran, Qurane. Okay, but what does that say? Rain. They are rain. They are worshiping. Baal is their god. Okay, all right. Let me explain hell to you. Okay, I gotta explain this to you. Over everybody, over all of them, is Baal. Baal is the biblical antichrist. He is the god of hell. Okay, he's their god. He's Emmy's god. He's the police's god. He's Mark's god. He's Ann's god. He is the rain's god. Now, outside of Baal, they have a pecking order. You have Emmy. You have Mark. You have the police. You know, the police take their fucking orders from Baal and Emma. Emmy tells them what to do. The police don't tell themselves what to do. The police enforce their little gay-ass rules. That's the only thing the police do. The police have no power. The police do what these motherfuckers say. That's all there is to it. The police do what Bill says. The police do what Emmy says. The police do what Mark says. The police do what the fuck Ann says. Okay? The police don't have their own power. The police do what these motherfuckers say. Okay? Now, rosary beads. He pulled in beside me because I'm a bee. I have blue eyes. I'm a man. So he pulled in beside me with rosary beads in his window. Okay. You got to understand art. Okay. Every motherfucking thing there is to these cowards, to the rain, revolves around methamphetamine, crystal meth, bees, pins, which is needles, pins, their whole theology, their literature, their every thought, their every word that comes out of their motherfucking mouth. Oh, I forgot about asshole, because everything, their light is asshole, is anal sex, is butt fucking. Excuse my French. But when you get to prison, you're going to find out. Everything is about methamphetamine, pins, assholes, literal freaking anal sex. Which makes perfect sense because they're all faggots, right? Right. Their whole literature though, their everything they read. Okay. There are certain parts in the Bible, in the Corinthians and stuff like that, that you gotta read. It's very low literature. But it's all ands and as and but. And every time the Bible says as, the word, not as, A-S, okay? But, B-U-T, everything in there, they have took and twisted into being about ass. It's disgusting, but it's true. You got to understand art, okay? They have been trained in what is called the art, okay? And the art revolves around targeting and killing bees, okay? The Quran, for crying out loud, literally teaches them to kill bees. And it says it. It don't hide it. It doesn't disguise it. In the Quran that I had, didn't disguise the fact that they were murdering bees. It was very freaking clear. When I say clear, I mean it was very, very was very understandable. There wasn't no mistaking who and what they were talking about killing. They're taught to murder bees. Individuals that are born in this world with blue eyes. I don't mean they went through a hormonal transformation and they got some eye fillers put in and they slapped some contacts in or whatever and ended up with blue eyes. No, I mean they were born. If you were born into this world with blue eyes, you are a legitimate bee. These they're trained to kill bees, bro. And their freaking Quran teaches them to do so. But one thing you got to understand about their Quran is a deception. They're not worshiping no freaking Allah. They're worshiping, who is Allah? Allah. A-L-L-A. L-L. The devil. Bill. In Spartanburg, they worship Bill and Emma. They pray to Emmy. When they do their little Muslim fucking fake ass bullcrap, they're praying to Emma. I can't remember exactly how their little prayer goes, but in part of their prayer they talk about Amin Shireen Makalek. Amin Shireen Makalek. Write that down on a piece of paper. Amin Shireen Makalek. M-E-A-N. Who's Emmy? M-E-A-N. Shah, S-H-A. Letting you know that's a female. Reen. R-E-A-N. She's probably an Ann. Mean Shireen Malkalek. Spell Malkalek. M-A. There it is. Emma. M-A-L-C-O Malkalek. Okay? I'm not the fucking best at spelling. But I wrote it down on a goddamn piece of paper, and I also had a fucking dictionary in the Bible, a dictionary in jail, so I could sit down and word for word figure out what these motherfuckers were saying. I wrote their whole little prayer down. They're speaking to Emma. There's no such thing as a Muslim. What does the word Muslim mean anyway? M-U. Spell Muslim. M-U what? S-L-U-M or I-M? Either way. Who are they worshiping? M-U. What does that say? Sound it out. Emma. Who are they worshiping? Simple as fucking that. Worshiping Emma. All that nonsense about freaking there's no such thing as a Muslim. They're literally worshiping Bill and Emma. Swear to fucking God. They're not speaking a foreign language when they pray. Listen real closely to what they are saying. There's no such thing as Spanish. There's no such thing as Arabic. Look at the word Arabic. A-R-A-B-I-C. B what? I-C. What are these motherfuckers? I-Cs. That's some icy bullshit. There's one language. That's fucking English. It's what I'm speaking right now. Everything else is AI. Every fucking thing else is AI. So-called smart communication. There's one fucking language. That's the English language. Everything else is an act. Everything else is AI. Swear to God. Swear to God. If you don't believe me, and this is proof. This is proof within proof. I probably could word that better. I'll come up with something else for that. But, better yet, I'll leave that out. I'll say that later. There's no such thing. There's no other language. There's one language. That's the English language. All these people out here that you think are Mexicans, they're not Mexicans. They've been regened to look like that. Yeah. All these blacks you think are black, they're not black. I mean, some of them could be, yes. But for the most part, okay, I got to explain to you how hell works and what the range mission is. Okay, well, what is the range mission? Okay, and what does the mission bell represent? Okay, first of all, the range mission is to turn everything backwards from how God intended it to be. If God sent you here through birth as a man, their mission is to turn you into a woman. If God sends you here by birth as a woman, their mission is to turn you into a man. If God sent you here by birth as a white man, their mission is to turn you into a black man or woman. Vice versa. Okay? Their mission is to change every... They're playing with the connectivity of my device again. Their mission is to change everything backwards. Okay? Everything. That's what this is all about. That's what this AI is about. That's what attacking these so-called arcs is about. Bees, let's call them bees, since, you know what I'm saying, that's what they like to call people with blue eyes. Bees. All right. One thing I want to explain to you about hell, where do they get bees from? A bee. Hell associates anything with wings. Okay. What is a synonym? Okay. A synonym is a word that takes the place of someone, of something, of anything without literally saying what you're talking about. Okay. So in place of saying, look, this man right here is an arc. This man right here has blue eyes. Instead of saying that, you could call him a shark. A shark. S-H-A-R-K. Oh, that's an arc. Well, you didn't say arc, you said shark. That's a synonym. You can pretend like you're talking about a great white shark. Arc. Great white shark. Maybe a hammerhead shark. Hammer, H-A-M-M-E-R. Well, who is Am? Ham. Well, Am's Jesus Christ. Oh, so if you're a hammerhead shark, ark, what are you? Oh, you're an ark that was sent by Jesus Christ. You got a hammerhead. You believe in Jesus Christ. A hammerhead shark. All of these animals are localities. Okay. What is a bull? A bull is a male cow, right? A cow is a cow, a female cow. A bull is the one with horns, the one with balls, right? Okay. So, what if someone called you a bull shark? A bull shark, that means you are a male ark. But they was pretending like they were talking about bull sharks. Yes, sir, that's called a locality. Okay, that is AI. Okay? These jokers are trained in this so that they can communicate. Basically, that's a transparency. Okay? So that they can stand in front of someone such as myself and have a conversation about me without me being able to prove or having any understanding of what they're saying. That's what a transparency is. That's called having a transparent conversation. Okay. Better yet, they also design things like, and this is a transparent object. What does this say? Bull shark. It's just a pair of gloves. Right. But if two nays or three nays or 10 nays were standing in a parking lot and I walked up and they couldn't say, hey, look, there's a bull shark right here. Maybe he got these gloves in his pocket. He can pull out these gloves and slap them on the table or slap them around. Well, these nays are trained to know what a bull shark is. That's a fucking arc right here. This is a transparent means of communication. In short, this is a transparent means of communication. Okay. Anything to do with a bull, a buck, okay, a duck, hell associates anything with wings with an arc. A chicken, a duck, a quail, a dove. Okay? I have blue eyes. They'll use the word husky. He's a husky. Because husky dogs have blue eyes. Okay? Anything outside of saying this man right here is a freaking arc. Okay? These are called transparent means of communication. And they're trained in this. Okay? What is this for? Why would they have transparent means of communication? Because they're murdering arcs. And what that does is creates a technicality in the court of law where they can communicate about what's going on without there being any repercussions. We was talking about sharks. We was talking about hunting bucks. Yeah, they was talking about hunting bucks. Men. Well, they got deer heads hanging all over their house. They got deer head stickers on the back of their truck. They wear camo. They got guns. They probably was talking about hunting deer. And they've trained these jokers to create that illusion. Yeah. The police have trained them to live that life and create that illusion. Okay? That's called framework. If you go to prison or jail and you start studying, you'll find out what framework is. They frame their lives around murdering these bees. They frame their lives around these transparencies, these transparent things, so that they can go out and target men such as myself while giving themselves the ability to be able to communicate with other people that are in and law enforcement and different things like that. And their communication, the lifestyle they live, would never reveal that they was actually in fact talking about murdering bucks, men, arcs. They framed their own lives in around these transparent technicalities. I swear to God, the police trains these guys in framework. They train them in framework. They frame their lives in around this bullshit. Swear to God. Just so they can go out and target legitimate men such as myself. Hunt them down and kill them, bro. See, if you're Rain and you see someone pull in with rosary beads hanging from the freaking truck, you know there's bees around here. I can give you millions of examples of framework. A Caterpillar engine, a Caterpillar tractor, a excavator. You know, why they call it excavator an excavator? Why they call it a Caterpillar a Caterpillar? A 8. That's framework. But if you see a group of nays standing around talking about an excavator, it appears as if they're talking about a piece of machinery. That is called a transparency. To a legitimate man, he would assume these cowards was talking about a excavator or why do they call it a bulldozer? A bulldozer. That is another transparency. A bull is a man. These are nays. They don't have no balls. They just look like men. This whole world is designed around these transparencies. A freight liner. If you're not with the 6, then you're an 8. A freight 8 liner. Okay? Well, it's a truck. Yes, it is a truck, literally. But the word freight liner is framework. That is a transparency, and it was designed so these cowards could go out and kill and target legitimate men and be able to communicate about it in front of this individual without this individual having any idea that they were talking about him. That's a transparency. Okay? The police trained these cowards how to have transparent conversations, how to, all these things. This is transparent art. This is cop art. What is this? Copenhagen. So if you walked up on me and I was a cop, or I wanted you to think I was a cop, without telling you I'm a freaking cop, I could simply pull out a can of... Sorry about that. They're playing with the connectivity of my device again. They hate it when I tell the truth, but I don't give a fuck. Anyway, so if I wanted to let you know that I was a cop, this is a transparent art. Okay? I'm letting you know I'm a cop in a transparent way. I could simply pull out a can of Copenhagen. Okay? And if you're an ISIS, what is the ISIS? ISIS is the IC. Okay? If you've been trained, if you have any training at all, if you're Rain, if you're anybody, you're going to know this guy's a fucking cop. Okay? I'll give you another transparent thing I could do. Maybe I could fucking pick up a piece of copper wire out of my truck and stand there and play with a piece of copper wire. Cop. You would understand then this guy's a fucking cop. That's a transparent means of communication. As simple as that. And they train these guys in that. Okay? Maybe I could maybe I could take my drink and take the cap off and stand there and play with it as I'm talking to you. What is that? That's a cap. Cop. That's another transparent way I could communicate to you that I was a cop. Right? Right. Maybe I could talk about Jelly Roll. Hey man, you ever heard of Jelly Roll? Jelly Roll? Jail, motherfucker. Maybe I could talk about Gucci Mane. Gucci Mane. G-U-C-C-I. Oh, he's a fucking CI. He's a cop. Correct. You see how that works? And I didn't never say that I was a cop. I just brought up the subject of Gucci Mane or Jelly Roll, or I stood there and played with a cap in my hand, or I maybe had a copper bracelet on, or maybe I had a copper wire in my hand, or maybe I pulled out a can of fucking Copenhagen to demonstrate to you that I was a cop. And if you had any training whatsoever in any type of theology or art or transparencies or anything, you would have knew right away this guy's a fucking cop. Right? Now here's the problem with all of this AI. Everything that I just told you is simple as AI. That's what AI is. AI is illusions. AI is everything outside of the literal understanding of something. For example, again, if I gave you a copy of some paperwork, a copy of a warrant, a copy of anything that said copy on it, okay? Literally, it's just a fucking copy. Literally, you could say, I printed this off, I made you a copy, and I gave it to you. Literally, yes. But the truth is, that would be telling you either that you're a cop or that I'm a cop. I gave you a copy. Okay? Here's another good one. For example, on Facebook, where it says news feed. Is that feed or feds? Ah, that's cop art. That's a transparency. Well, I mean, literally it says feed. But if you're a cop, you know that says feds. If you have any type of fucking art training or any goddamn thing at all, you know that says fucking feds. Right? That's transparent communication. Okay? Here's another good example. All of these jokers, including law enforcement, including these ICs, including the rank, they're all injecting crystal meth. Okay? Their whole life revolves around pens. Pens, methamphetamine, bees, assholes. They're all faggots. They're all queer. Every fucking one of them's queer. Okay? So with that said, everything these motherfuckers do revolves around one of those topics. Okay? So in place of saying, I want a pen to inject methamphetamine, I can simply ask you for a pencil. This is called penology. This is a form of literature. A pencil, P-E-N-C-I-L, a fucking pen. Maybe I could ask you for an ink pen, a pen. Simple enough. Let's get a little deeper. Maybe I could just simply tell you that I was headed to Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania? Your fucking vein. A pen. That's transparent means of communication. This is AI. And they train these cowards in AI. Why would you want something to mean something outside of what it literally says? To hide what is going on. I'll give you another transparent, sick ass art that these nays like to use. Okay, first off, let me explain to you. When you go to prison or jail, there's no legitimate men. They're all nays. So everybody in jail that looks like men, they're not really men. They're females that's regened into men. Okay? Understand that. And if they see that you have a Adam's apple and they figure out that you are a real man, you're a bull, they're going to wage war on you because they're jealous of you. Because they can't, you possess something they can't possess. They can't be real men. They can grow beards, they can look like men, they can get big muscles like men, but they can't be a man. They can't do it. You can sew them a dick on all you want to, and it will never work like a man's. They will never get the same sensation out of that penis as a man will. There's another transparency, the word penis. Maybe I walk by you and say, come get me some penis. Penis, P-E-N-I-S. Motherfucker wants a pen. Okay? That's a transparency. To a legitimate individual, they would think this fucker's gay. But they would know that wasn't what was going on, right? That's just a transparent request. right? What was I getting at? All of this deception and all of these lies and all of this revolves around covering up the truth. And that's what yeah, what I said is correct. But listen, what I was getting at is, when you get over in these jails and these prisons, they're all nays. So if you are a legitimate man, they are trained in the art of killing you, bro. In these transparencies, I'm going to give you some example. Okay, okay, so they will place a man such as myself in a cell with other nays. And these working nays, these working ICs, they're all ICs. If you've nayed, you're an IC. Okay. They're all on the same team. Okay. And they had to have a way to communicate in front of a man such as myself without this man having any understanding of what they're saying. Okay. That's where you get into hermeneutics, which is another form of literature that I'm constantly talking about. Everything is about a him, a he, a she. It's hermeneutics. Okay. But they train them in art. For example, the word cheese stick. You may say to a CO, "Hope we have some cheese sticks tonight." Well, literally, it sounds like a motherfucker's asking for some cheese sticks. A cheese stick. What do you do with a needle? You stick. So now what the motherfucker requesting? A cheese stick. When I was in there, okay, like I told you, they will gas you in these cells and put you to sleep. Okay? Put your ass to bed. Knock you out. These working nays, these ICs, are injecting methamphetamine. So the effects that this gas has on you, it doesn't have on them because they're fucking amped up on crystal meth. The police bring these motherfuckers dope in there, already loaded in needles. Give it to them, so they're wide ass awake. So when they gas your ass and you go to sleep, they don't go to sleep. They stay awake. Okay? But once they get you asleep, once they put you to bed, they will stick you with needles and shit. Okay? For example, in Spartanburg, there's this little short-haired fucking dyke chick that is a CO there. On the nights that they were going to gas me and put me to sleep, she would come in and she had Pokemon tattoos all over her. This is art. Pokemon, hermeneutics. What is a mon? A man. What is men? Man. M-I-N, M-O-N, M-E-N, M-A-N, man, mon. This is hermeneutics. It's all about men. What do you do with a needle? You poke. So now, what does Pokemon mean? Poke the mon. So on the nights that these motherfuckers planned on gassing me and sticking me with needles, this bitch would work. And I always knew when I seen her come in, these motherfuckers ain't putting me to bed tonight. Nope. And they would try. But I would intentionally, I ain't going to sleep, motherfucker. I'll drink a cup of mud. I'm talking about straight coffee. I'm talking about I'll wire myself up. I'll make somebody give me a big old cup of mud just so I know I ain't going to sleep. I'll lay there awake all goddamn night. And them little nays will lay there jacked up on meth waiting on me to go to sleep. They'll toss and turn all night waiting on me to go to bed. Wouldn't go to bed. But they're trained in this. Okay? Another thing they would do is play spades. Spades? What is a fucking spade? A needle. Everything to them is about needles. Methamphetamine. Ass. Okay? They're trained in this art, man. Everything is art to them. But all of their art revolves around needles. methamphetamine, sticking men. Everything is about murdering bulls, murdering men. Okay? Everything. You got to understand it. And once you understand that, figuring them out becomes real easy. Figuring out everything they do becomes real easy. Here's another transparency. What is this? A gingerbread. What? Man. They're not men. They're nays. What is that? A candy cane. So I can simply walk in a store and stand in line behind you with a gingerbread man cup. And what happens? Well, I'm going to tell you what happens. These places are designed to screw over men. Okay. So these nays, what the prices are on things inside of the store, they pay half, if not pay it all. A lot of these places, they don't have to pay anything. But when a man comes in, they jack the fucking price up. They overtax you and they overcharge you on every fucking thing. Everything to rip you off. And they have trained these motherfuckers to war like that. So the person behind the counter, you come in, you get in line, go to pay for your stuff. One of these faggots get a notification on their phone that tells them to go inside and stand behind you with a gingerbread man cup. All this is a transparency. That's just an example. There's many examples. Maybe they can come get in front of you and buy a pair of fucking gloves that says Bull Shark. Well, the bitch that rings them up knows, oh, wait a minute, a bull shark, you're standing in line right behind them. You know what I'm saying? But what that does, they raise the price on your ass and start fucking you. Okay? That's a transparent means of communication. And the police have trained these cowards to war on men through these means, through these things that I'm talking about. Okay? Literally. What can a motherfucker do to you with a pair of gloves that says Bull Shark? They can't do a motherfucking thing. But they can notify the motherfucker that's ringing you up that you're a man. And they can jack the price up on you. They could bring this cup inside of a restaurant that you're at while you're ordering your food and notify the motherfucker behind the counter that you're a legitimate man. And they can give you food that's loaded with the hormone estrogen to make you soft and to make you weak and to destroy your insides. They can give you cancerous food simply by notifying the individual that's ringing you up that you're a man, because everybody's in. Once you enter these programs, you're in. Once you've sold your soul, you are in. Okay? Even the people that work inside of these restaurants, they're trained in the art as well. So they know when they see something like that, well, they're nays. They're all nays. Bill has literally turned the whole world upside down. There are very few, if any at all, legitimate men left. Like I told y'all last night, they are taking, in a lot of situations, they are taking these boys that are born with blue eyes and a penis between their legs, these real male children, they are taking them at birth and clipping their penis off and giving them a vagina and raising them up as females. Vice versa. Yes, they are doing this at childbirth. Right now. Who's allowing this? Bill. The police. Emmy. Who's enforcing this? Bill. Emmy. Mark. The police. They're allowing and enforcing this. Yes, this is sick. This is disgusting. I can simply their clothing, everything they wear is transparent communication. What if I walk in a store or stand in line behind you with a pair of Hey Dudes on? Hey Dudes. A-U. They're eyes. They're all eyes. I sees. Who is the I? Well, first of all, the I is the devil. It's the number of a man, 666. Once you sell your soul to Bill, you are a I. Okay? Well, who's Jesus Christ? Well, that's the you. Okay? So if you're not an I, you're a you. There's no in between. Either you sold your soul to the devil or you're a you. Okay? So you got some Hey Dudes on. This is low. It isn't Hey Dude, it's a you. And they're training this. So they know this motherfucker just walked in behind him with some Hey Dudes on. Well, they're trying to kill all the yous. You is Jesus Christ. These people have sold their soul to the devil. Their eyes. Okay? I'm telling you what the truth is. I mean, I don't beat around. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm just going to factually tell you what the truth is. Okay. Here goes some more transparent communication. What if I put a bandana on my head and took a picture? What would I be saying? A bandana. I'm letting you know that I'm a nay-nay. I'm a fucking an. So I took a picture with a bandana. That's transparent communication. What if I put a flannel shirt on? Flannel. F-L-A-N-A-L. I'm letting you know that I'm a fucking an. This is called art. These are transparent. I'm communicating with you through my fucking clothing. That way you know that I'm a nay-nay. Right? If I was a nay-nay, that would be what I was doing. Or if I was trying to throw you a curve. Right? Right. They're trained in this. A flannel shirt. A bandana. Man, there's so many fucking examples. Got a pair of Hey Dudes on. Every fucking thing these cowards do has a meaning. All right, let me tell you this. I get up in the morning, I throw my clothes on. I wear these clothes just because they're fucking clothes. They have no motherfucking symbolic meaning. They have no artistic meaning. The reason I wear black is because I do flatbed. And if I wear anything outside of black, man, I'll have grease on my clothes. I have dirt everywhere. I wear fucking black because you can't stain black. How you gonna stain black? You can't fucking stain black. And that's why I wear black. These motherfuckers wear black, letting you know that they're acting. Black is an act. B-L-A-C-K. Right? Black. But it says act. Okay? They wear black. Everything they wear has a fucking meaning. From the shoes on their goddamn feet to the clothes on their back. Everything has a meaning. For example, right here. This fucking Nene is walking by me right here. I don't know if y'all can see her. Here, let me spin my fucking camera around. She's got a yellow hoodie on. On the front of the hoodie, it says a John Deere. What is a John, first of all? A John is a man. If you hear these Nenes talking about a John is a fucking man. What do they call a penis? A Johnson. A John is a man. So she's got a motherfucking hoodie on that says John Deere. What did I just tell you they treat men like? They hunt them like animals. They hunt them like freaking deer. Bucks. So in front of her shirt it says John Deere. John Deere is a buck. That is a man. a John is a man. So she literally got up and put that fucking hoodie on and came over here and parked her truck beside me just to walk by me with a shirt that says John Deere. Okay? What the fuck did she get out of that? All these cowards are eyes. Okay? They are allowed to sit on their computer and their phone and watch every guy. You see these lights out here? These aren't lights. They are lights, but they're cameras. Okay? You can see every motherfucking thing there is to see from these lights in this parking lot. And these eyes are allowed to sit here and monitor those day in and day out. That's pretty much all they do. Okay? So she knows this place is sworn. She knows that the rain is sitting out here in these goddamn trucks on these phones watching every goddamn individual that walks around in this goddamn parking lot. Okay? So she brought her little ass over here to walk by me with a goddamn shirt on that says John Deere. So they know that I am a legitimate man. That's why she done that. That's why she done that. She's not a John. Well, maybe she is. She didn't look like one. I'm sure at some point she's been goddamn chopped and split and goddamn sewed up and every goddamn thing else. And injected because she looked like a fucking female, right? But a John is a man. I get a little bit too deep sometimes because I know the whole truth. You can't lie to me, bro. Like, there's no fucking lying to me. And I could tell you why something is, and I could tell you why it says what it says, and I could tell you every fucking understanding there is to what it says. Okay? All these are transparencies. AI and transparencies. There's another transparency. This dude had a orange Kenworth. Orange Kenworth. O-R-A-N-G-E. What does that say? Rain. Oh, okay. What does the word Kenworth mean? This was a tough one at first. Kenworth. In war. So he got an orange Kenworth. That means the rain is warring with someone. Here goes another transparency. You saw these faggots. Now look, granted, I'm a truck driver. We have to fucking back up a lot, okay? I had to back up all the time, okay? This guy didn't have to back up. This guy pulled straight into this fucking parking spot. He didn't back in. He pulled in, pulled all the way through, and then backed up, okay? What does backing up mean? Okay? If someone's about to whoop your ass, and I jump out and I beat this person up, that means I was backing you, right? I was your homeboy. I was protecting you. I was backing you, bro. I got your back. Okay? So what is up? Well, up is heaven. Up is Jesus Christ. Up is anyone that don't want to go to hell. Up is anyone that believes in Jesus Christ. That's up. Okay? So this is art that I'm teaching you. So let's say a Christian or Christ believer, a Christ believer was sitting in a truck on the other side of this parking lot. Okay? And I wanted all these eyes out here that sitting on their phone watching the parking lot to know that this guy hadn't sixed, that this guy was up, that this guy believed in Jesus Christ. What could I do? Well, I could go pull my truck in front of this guy for no fucking reason. This happens all the time. That's why I'm saying this. That's why I'm using this as an example, because this happens all the time. They'll come pull right in front of you and they'll start backing up. That's letting everybody know that I back up, that I'm up. That's why they're backing up in front of you. Okay? He's up. He's up. He's backing up. He's on up's team. Right? That's what backing up means. Okay? I could also send a UPS truck to park beside you. UPS ups. Simple as that. What do all these things accomplish? Let me explain something. What are they getting out of all this? Okay. Well, there's a lot. Okay. Number one, all of these systems in these truck stops and these stores are set up for these nays to come in here and shop and buy what they want. And like I told you, 90% of the time they pay half or less of what the price is. Okay? When men come around, when Up comes around, when Arch come around, these systems are designed to up price everything. Everything goes up. The price of everything goes up. Okay? So when they come into these places with UPS trucks, when they're out in the parking lot backing up, here's another one they do. They get on the certified cat scales. Why they call those cat scales? C-A-T. Take away that C. What does that say? 8. If you ain't with the 6, then you're a 8. I'm teaching you theology. If you're not with the 6, you're with the 8. 8 is God. Okay? So they come in and they can do an action such as getting on the cat scales. Now what that does is triggers these eyes in these parking lots. It also triggers the hazing systems in the parking lot. But another thing that it does is it triggers the systems. Everything changes when Up's here. Everything changes when a man comes around. Okay? Like I told you, all the prices go up. Everything changes. And what the rain is doing is triggering these sensors for all of this to take place. Okay? If I pull into a parking lot and they're not out here doing all this stupid shit, that system may not know that I'm here. So I may go in here and fuck what they think really at the end of the day, they think they're hiding something. He won't never know. He won't never know that we're fucking him. He won't never know that the price is different when he ain't here. It's what they think that they're accomplishing. Okay? So the thought is, let's hurry up and trigger these sensors so that let's say I go in there and buy a slice of pizza that's priced at $5.99. Well, they only charge me $1.99 for it, and I'm like, what the fuck? It said $5.99. Well, at that point, I'm gonna know something ain't right. Well, let's say I peep game on that, and then I go buy something else just to check and make sure I was right. And then, sure enough, it was priced $3.99, and I got it for $1. It only charged me $1 at the cash register. Well, they know that I got enough sense to put two and two together, like, whoa, something ain't right. And that's exactly what has happened in the past, and that's why I know what I know. Okay? These nays don't have to pay. A lot of times, they don't have to pay anything. But if they have to pay anything at all, at the very least, it's half and below of what the price really says. But if you're Up, or if you're an Ark, or if you're a man, a legitimate man, Adam's apple, balls, penis, you was born into this world, a man, they jack the price up on you. Okay? And that's where all this stupid shit comes in. Standing behind you in line with a gingerbread man cup, walking up behind you with a real tree buck on their shirt. Anything to let these cowards know that you're a man. The prices go up. And the police train these cowards to war, just like I'm telling you. That's the truth. In their mind, they think that they're withholding knowledge. In their mind, they think that they're giving themselves the upper hand in this war. Like, we're so smart, we know everything, and all of the laws in this world were designed to protect these nays and to screw over legitimate men. What do you mean? When you start studying law and you get into jails, you're going to find out that women can do whatever they want to do. These nays can do whatever they want to do. The laws are designed to target men. For example, these are other transparent means. This is also law art. Okay? Let's say See, when I was in jail, I filed my own motions because I figured out that the public pretenders were trying to screw me. It didn't take me. I knew that before I went in there, and I found out that that is the truth 100%. I had to fire my public pretender and defend myself. So I had to learn the law real fast, okay? And then I read a couple of books on hermeneutics. I call it hermeneutics. Hermeneutics, huh? But the books I read were on hermeneutics, which is a form of literature, okay? And then I got to looking at the laws, and I figured out that these laws were designed to screw over men. And I'm going to give you an example of a transparent, here, let's do it like this. Let's say that I was filing a motion to have my case dismissed, and I got evidence of this back here. This is art. I did file a motion to have my case dismissed, and they responded with, Mr. Taylor, if you want to have your case dismissed, and I can't remember exactly what it says, I'll read it to y'all, but did you catch that? Basically, they was letting me know that I wasn't a fucking man. I wasn't a nene. I wasn't a miss. I was a man. So basically, I couldn't have my case dismissed. It's hermeneutics. But if you are a woman, you can request to have your case dismissed. They're playing with the connectivity of my device again. It's so funny. But anyway, I filed a motion to have my case dismissed. And being a smartass, they responded with, Mr. Taylor, such and such, such and such, such and such. But they put the MR period and big ass letters on the front of the envelope. Mr. Taylor. But this is how this works. If you are a nene and you went through transformation, or if you are a legitimate female, there's no consequences for anything. If they catch you with drugs, if they catch you anything, doing anything, stealing, anything, you can request to have your case dismissed. And when they find that you are a woman or you are a nene, they'll release you right from jail. Bye-bye. Have a good day. Because the laws are designed to target men. I'm going to give you some more examples. For example, I was charged with trafficking methamphetamine. They told me that my charge had a minimum mandatory. A minimum mandatory. There are those key words again. Men and man. My case had a minimum mandatory because I'm a legitimate man. So basically they was telling me I couldn't have my case dismissed because I wasn't a woman. And I had to serve a mandatory sentence because I was a man. Is this wrong? Hell yeah. Is this illegal? Hell yeah. Is this discrimination? Hell yeah. Does this violate my constitutional rights? Hell yeah. But apparently there has never been a man with enough sense to know what the fuck that says and what that meant. I'm going to tell you something else that South Carolina will tell you. They will tell you that your charge has a enhancement. Your charge has a enhancement. Enhance. There's that key word again. Ment. M-E-N-T. Men. If you're a woman, you don't have to worry about that. If you're a nene, you don't have to worry about that. They allow these sickos to do whatever they want to do. No consequences. But if you're a man, you're a fucking target of the police. And they have designed all of these laws to trick you, to manipulate you, to fool you. I'll give you another example of law art. I was doing my own case. I was representing myself. I was having to file my own paperwork, file my own motions, so on and so forth. That's how I ended up beating them at their own fucking game. Oh, and don't ever let the police manipulate you into believing that they beat me. Yeah, they didn't beat me. They fucking lost. They lost on the outside, and then when I got on the inside, they lost again. The police lost twice. I whooped their ass both times. They tried to send me to trial on an open plea that carried 0 to 10 fucking years in prison. They was going to give me the fucking max, and I caught them. I caught them red-handed, and I called them out on it. I said, hell no. I said, I'm not signing that. I said, I'm not signing that. They worded it to make it look like they was offering me the minimum mandatory 3 years. That charge carried a minimum mandatory for a man of 3 years. And they worded it to make it look like that's what they was offering me. But the truth was, they said, we're offering you the minimum mandatory of this charge. And the minimum mandatory of that charge was really 0 to 10. They tried to send me to trial they tried to send me to court on an open plea. And I caught them. And I said, hell no. I said, until you change the wording of this, I said, and make it clear that you're only telling me that you're off, that you want me to serve 3 fucking years. I said, I'm not signing it. That bitch got so mad, bro. She was fucking pissed because she knew at that point I had beat her at her own fucking mind game. I whooped them. I embarrassed them. Never go to court on an open plea, because the judge can give you whatever he wants. If you go before a judge on an open plea, if they tell you your charge carries 0 to 10, but we're offering you the minimum mandatory, make them say, we are offering you 3 years. You've already served 2, you're finna go home. Because they charged me, they tried to charge me with a violent, serious crime. They said trafficking is violent and serious, which means I had to serve 65% of that time. And that's how I ended up doing 2 years off of that 3-year bid. Okay? In South Carolina, you only have to do 50% of your time. If it's violent, it goes to 65%. And there's a couple other stipulations that can make it go to 85% of the fucking time. If you're a man, if you're a nay-nay, you don't have to do no time. You can get caught with goddamn 500 kilos of methamphetamine and you're good to go. They'll take you to jail, they'll print you, and they'll send you fucking home. But if you're a man, they're going to throw the book at you. Because while you're in there, they're going to feed you things to take your manhood from you. They're going to make you weak. They're going to starve you. They're going to stick you with needles. They're going to try to freaking kill you. And then they're going to get you beat up. They're going to try to take your manhood from you. And they know that they need as much, in certain situations, they need as much time as they can get out of you to accomplish that. So they're going to try to offer you the most dumbest things you've ever heard. But the thought is to keep your ass in jail, so that they can continue this attack on you. Okay? Until they get you to transform into a faggot. They don't care if you like ding-a-ling in a booty hole and you want to look like a man, that's cool, as long as you're a faggot. You're either going to be nay or gay. That's what they want. Nay or gay. Period. Or a combination of the both. They don't care. That's all they want. The police are fucking sick, bro. These are sick fucking people, bro. Every fucking thing has a transparent understanding. In jail, in prison, on the outside. Let's play poker. Have you ever took a deck of cards and looked at the kings and the queens and the jacks and all that? What you're going to notice about the kings is, in one of them, I think it's the king of spades. The king of spades. This motherfucker has a sword in his hand behind his head with blood coming out of it. Behind his head. What does that mean? A sword. Knives, swords are representation of pins, of needles. Okay? You have to understand that. Everything is penology to these motherfuckers. Okay? Man, it's just so much, bro. Pokemon, I already said that. Pokemon. That means there's a fucking man that they're trying to poke with a fucking needle. What do they get out of that? They inject these motherfuckers with hormones. Mainly the hormone estrogen, because it makes a man super fucking weak. It literally makes that man feel like a goddamn woman. Plus it takes them out of their right frame of mind. I mean, it makes them do all type of crazy shit. Okay? It really does. So they're bad about injecting men with estrogen to make them weak. Okay? And like I told you, all these motherfuckers in jail are nays. They're faggots and nays. Okay? So, by nature, they're intimidated by a real man. Especially somebody like myself. I worked out every fucking day. At one point, I was doing right at 2,000 push-ups a fucking day. They were very fucking intimidated by me. Okay? So, how do you handle being intimidated by a man? They'll gas these motherfuckers. They'll put them to sleep, and they'll stick them with needles. The hormone estrogen. And what that does is makes that man super fucking soft and super weak. Another thing they are allowed to do, they are allowed to order trays. What they call soft trays. They'll order soft trays, and they'll bring these fucking soft trays in there, and you'll eat that shit unaware of what the fuck you're eating. And you'll wake up the next day soft as a baby's ass. Like, god damn. I'm weak as fuck. And then these motherfuckers will attack your ass. Understand that the COs inside of these jails and prisons have software and technology to where they can sit behind the screen of a fucking computer and monitor your heart rate. They can actually visually see what's going on the inside of your fucking body, bro. These motherfuckers can monitor your liver function, your heart rate, your everything right from the screen of their fucking computer. Every fucking thing. So they let these motherfuckers know when you're sound asleep and when you're awake. If you are a legitimate man in jail or prison, I want you to understand that the motherfuckers that are around you aren't legitimate men. Okay? There is a difference in a convict and an inmate. Convicts are working ICs. Inmates are someone such as myself. Inside of the jail and the prison that I was in, there were no inmates. Everyone were convicts. A CO walked by me one day, which I already knew that, but a CO walked by me one day. He was a cool ass CO. I kind of liked him. I had a little bit of respect for him. But he walked by and he was laughing and goddamn, me and him always cut up and joke with each other. This was when I was in Kirkland R&E. And we had a little flap that we could goddamn peek out of and talk or whatever. And I knelt down at the flap and he knelt down beside me and he said, you know, there's a difference in a convict and an inmate, don't you? I said, yeah. He said, okay. He said, I seen you up there arguing with them guys up top, talking about you gonna whoop their ass, and they were talking about they were gonna whoop your ass, and this, that, and the third. I said, yeah. He said, you're arguing with convicts. He said, they ain't finna do none of that shit they was talking about. I said, I already know they ain't. I said, the motherfucker ain't finna touch me. And he was like, you're arguing with convicts. He said, when I go up here and pop these doors in a minute, he said, I'm gonna pop your door at the same time. He said, see if they come down here with that same goddamn energy. He said, these are convicts, man. They con artists. That man went up there and popped that goddamn door. They wouldn't even come out the goddamn room. I went and got in the shower. I wasn't gonna fuck with them because I was outnumbered, you know what I'm saying? But if they came down and started with me, we finna throw hands. But I went on and jumped in the shower. They wouldn't even come outside. They thought I was ready to go. And which I was, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't gonna carry it on because he had already told me what he was gonna do. You know what I'm saying? And I knew that he was going to be standing there watching. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right. So he went up there and popped up. Man, they wouldn't even come out the goddamn room. They was stuck off in the room. I went and got in the shower and shit. You know what I'm saying? I kept a little peek out the curtain to make sure they didn't try to run in on me or whatever. But after everything was said and done, I went and put my shit back in my room or whatever, washed my ass, whatever. They didn't even come out and take a fucking shower. He came and knelt back down beside the damn cell. He said, "What I told you?" He said, "You arguing with convicts." He said, "Don't worry about him." He said, "They had you down here, had your blood pressure high, had you mad." He said, "I see you working out every day." He said, "They more worried about you than you are them." He said, "Trust me, I know." He said, "They see you working out and shit too." He said, "They wasn't about it." He said, "You see they didn't want none." I said, "I already know they didn't want none." I was outnumbered though. There were about 3 of them in the fucking room. You know what I'm saying? I was by myself. But he said, "They didn't want none." He said, "I done told you that." And he said, "You're arguing with goddamn nay convicts, man." Because no, I told him, I said, "Yeah, I know they ain't, man." I said, "Ain't nothing but a bunch of nay-nays." I said, I'm a real man. He said, "And I know that." He said, "I ain't stupid." He said, "I know that." He said, "Like you said, you arguing with nay convicts." I said, "Yeah." But that's the truth of it, man. Like, I ain't finna argue no fucking, I ain't about to argue with nobody. But anyway, I'm about to jump off here, man. I done explained it to y'all. I done told y'all the truth. Somebody's got to do something about it, and I'm going to do something about it. Don't let these jokers fool you with this AI and these transparencies. Don't be no. If you a legitimate man and you run across my video, which I doubt that you will, because they monitor my shit and they try to delete these videos as fast as they can. But it's my goal to help any man who finds themselves in a situation where these cowards are trying to force them into regeneration, trying to force them to be a nay. You ain't got to be no freaking nay. Don't let these cowards take your manhood from you, because they got all type of avenues they can go down to reach their goal. They can feed you stuff. They can stick you with needles. They can gas you to sleep. But they can do all type of things. Sleep is no natural phenomenon. When you've been up all day working your ass off, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock roll around, you get a little bit tired or whatever, you go to bed, that might be natural. But when you sleep 5, 6, 7, 8 hours and you get up and then 45 minutes later you tired as hell, damn, I'm tired, I'm gonna go out. That ain't no natural phenomenon, man. If you find yourself in a situation like that, you might want to check your vehicle out. You might want to check your house out. They gassing you, bro. They putting your ass to bed. They trying to take you out of your right frame of mind. They trying to bring your energy levels down. If they can bring your energy levels down, that affects you mentally. They can control you mentally, bro. And there's so many avenues they can go down to accomplish that. Your food. Do you understand? Skin absorption is a motherfucker. Skin absorption, bro. Skin absorption is the quickest way to get something in your system. Your shampoos, your conditioner, your soaps. Check all that. Man, they got soap in jail that you could bathe with. You could be rock hard, feeling good, strong, like a man. You could bathe in this soap. And man, within 30 minutes, you'll be soft as a baby's behind. Soft, weak. These jokers are putting genes and hormones in freaking soap. Shampoos. Yes. All these are weapons of war. And they have given that to these freaking nay-nays to war on men, bro. To war on men. They've trained them what to use, what not to use, what to eat, what not to eat. They've trained these cowards. The police have trained these cowards. Somebody's got to do something about it. And I ain't going to stop. I'm going to do something about it. These cowards will infect you. If you go to jail, they can do it on the outside. They will infect. They've been infecting so-called ARCs with hepatitis and HIV for years and let them die. They won't even say you died of hepatitis or HIV. They will infect you and let you get cirrhosis of the liver, because that's what hepatitis does. It destroys your colon and your liver. And they will feed you nasty food to speed up that process. And you will die of colon cancer and cirrhosis of the liver. And they will rule your fucking death, natural causes. Even though these cowards murdered you, my father was murdered in this very way. My mother's cousin, Terry Brown, both of them, brown hair, blue eyes, both of them, so-called arcs. They murdered them in the same way. My father and my mother's cousin was murdered by ICE. Murdered by ICs. Murdered by these nenes. Killed dead because they were men. Because they were legitimate men. No other reason. No reason. Simply because they were men. And they chose to stay men. They were murdered. I don't mean there may be a possibility they were murdered. No, they were murdered. There's no other possibility. I've done my homework. I've done my research. I've put the puzzle together. I have found the framework in my family's fucking names. Yeah. I got an uncle. This was framework. This is a transparency. His name was Colin. They used his name to communicate about my father's fucking colon in front of his face. This is a transparent means of communication. They can simply say something as simple as, have you heard from Colin today? And them motherfuckers knew that they were talking about my father's colon, which is what they were targeting to kill him. And he did, in fact, die of colon cancer. This motherfucker's name was literally used as transparent communication. And I have so many other examples. My whole fucking family, from the names to everything, when you look at everyone's name, you write everybody in my family's name down on a piece of paper. It's all framework. I have unraveled the whole framework surrounding my father's death. And also my mother's cousin, Terry Brown, who was also murdered. Yeah. My own family were involved in these deaths. I'm not even going to call nobody's name right now because it's all going to come out. And I'm going to make sure they pay a fucking dear price for what they done because they tried to do me the same way. But I caught them red-handed. I caught them red-handed. That's my family. That's my situation. Do you know there are 57s locked up right now? What is a 57? A 57. 7 is the numerical value of heaven. 5 is the numerical value of anyone that is real. Okay. So for me to say they have 57s locked up in prisons right now that they are torturing and murdering all across this country, I promise you, there are white males with blue eyes, so-called 57s, that they have charged with bogus crimes, and 22 of them sitting in fucking prison right now, that they are doing these same things to. They allow these nenes to come in and out of these prisons and use these men as practice. As fucking practice. They practice communication. They practice sticking them with needles. They practice feeding them stuff. They use these men as practice. Yes. Like guinea pigs. There's a sign going down Interstate 16. Like I said, they're playing with the connectivity in my device again. There's a sign going down Interstate 16, going from, it starts in Macon, Georgia, and it runs all the way to Savannah. 16 dead ends in Savannah, Georgia. It starts in Macon, Georgia, dead ends in Savannah, Georgia. Well, as you're riding down Interstate 16, you're going to come to exit 54 57, which is the Steelmore Reidsville exit. Okay, what you have to understand, we had what was called Georgia State Prison, which was one of the biggest prisons in Georgia. Okay, they call that Georgia State. It's in Reidsville, Georgia. Okay, now this sign is a transparent means of communication with the rain, because the rain has been sent out to target and murder and entrap all of the 57s. 57s are men such as myself. That's why I have that 75 on the back of my arm. I just done it backwards. 57 are men such as myself. But that sign is transparent communication to the rain. And it reads, and I quote, "Steal more. Steal more. Reidsville. Exit 57. Basically, it says there's still more 57s in Reidsville. Basically, letting the rain know they hadn't killed them all. They hadn't killed all the 57s. There's still more in Reidsville fucking prison. Literally, there's a town called Steelmore. Literally, there's a town called Reidsville. This is called transparent. Literally, there's an animal that's called a bull. Literally, there's a animal that's called a buck. Right? Once again, they're playing with the connectivity of my device, and they have my devices set up to where they could go in and through notifications and different things like that, they could trigger my device to lose connectivity and to blur out my screen and all type of bullshit. Truthfully, your device never loses connectivity, never runs out of data, never runs out of storage, but they have features on my device, and if you're a legitimate man, they'll probably have your device set up on platforms with features and stuff so that they can go in and tell you that you'll receive a message that said, "You're running out of memory, but I just bought my phone a month ago." Anything they can do to stop you from collecting evidence, to stop you from making videos, to stop you from taking pictures. They don't want any evidence built or gained on them. And if they can tell you that your device has ran out of memory or that you have low connectivity or any little thing they can to silence you, they will try. That's a weapon. Everything is weaponized to these cowards. Now back to what I was saying. Literally, there's a fish called a hammerhead shark. Literally, there's a fish called a great white shark. Okay? These are transparent means of communication. Literally, we have a male cow, which is a bull. Literally, we have a male deer, which is a buck. Right? But those words are used as transparencies to talk about men. Okay? That's what a transparency is. And they're trained on these. They're trained on these things. Here's some transparent clothes art. You see this moron walking across the parking lot with a orange vest on? Basically, he's letting you know that he is Rain. He's a nay-nay. In order to reign, they're playing with my connectivity again. In order to reign, you have to be a nay-nay. You have to transform. Where do you think the word transform comes from? Rain. Ans. Transform. Okay? You have to have went through a transformation to even be Rain. You can't, how you gonna be a real man but you're Rain? It don't work like that. The definition of Rain is a transvestite. Here's another transparency. They're coming to me as I talk. City motherfuckers with butterfly tattoos. Butterfly tattoos. They use butterflies because of metamorphosis. Butterflies transform from what? A caterpillar to a butterfly. So they have took over the butterfly. Okay? And they use, let me explain something to you. The butterfly has two meanings to these nays. Okay? A butterfly they use because it transforms from a caterpillar to a butterfly. They've transformed from men to women, women to men, black to white, Chinese, whatever, so on and so forth, right? Through hormones, right? Okay. They also, I'm going to go back to the butterfly because butterfly has two meanings now. You got to be careful. They also like frogs. You'll see these jokers getting frog tattoos. What does frogs have to do with it? Frogs transform from tadpoles to frogs. So they use frogs as symbolism as well. Butterflies and frogs. Now, you got to know your butterflies. What does a monarch butterfly represent? Oh, a monarch. If they have an orange butterfly, which is a monarch butterfly, you got to know your butterflies. There's different breeds of butterflies. Okay? A monarch butterfly is symbolism, letting these little nays know that there's a man fucking arc around. Okay? So if somebody shows up around you with a monarch butterfly, they're communicating with everybody around you transparently, letting them know that this guy's a fucking man arc. Like, he's a legitimate man. He's an arc. He's got blue eyes. This is a monarch. Okay? So the monarch butterfly symbolizes you're a man arc. And they will use that to communicate with the rain that, hey, this guy's a fucking a man arc. Okay? Now, let me explain. You're like, damn, they would get a fucking tattoo just to do that to you. Their tattoos aren't real. They have what is called henna tattoos. H-I-N-A. Nay tattoos. They're not real tattoos. You can go to any tattoo parlor and tell them that you don't want a real tattoo, don't want a henna tattoo. They look just like real tattoos, but they're not real. You can wash them off. Better yet, after 6 months, they'll bleed out. You'll have to get them redone. But I believe some of them will stay on you for like fucking 6 months, no matter what you do. Okay, you have to go and have some of them professionally removed. And I mean, it ain't like they're digging into your skin. They're not in your skin. They're staining your fucking skin. That's what henna tattoos are. So it's not like they're literally tattooing their body just to flag that you're a man. They're fake tattoos. So hell yeah, yeah. There ain't nothing to them to go get a fucking henna tattoo of a goddamn monarch butterfly just to show the motherfuckers that's around you that you're a man arc. Okay? That's transparent communication. They're communicating with these ICs, they're communicating with the rain about you without verbally saying any fucking thing. This is called art. This is called smart communication. AI is what this is. But what you got to understand is all of this AI, 90% of it revolves around men, pens, methamphetamine, law art. I mean, there's all types of fucking art. Here's another good example. And they have these things set up everywhere. Okay, understand that no matter where you're at, Walmart, fucking truck stops. I use truck stops as examples a lot because I'm a truck driver. I'm always at truck stops. The rain can show, if you're rain, okay, if you're a fucking nay, you can show up any fucking where you want to and act like you work there. Okay? And they have fucking vehicles and stuff set up for these motherfuckers just to show up and pretend like they work here. If they're on their phone eyeing or whatever, and they discover that there's a man such as myself at this truck stop, these motherfuckers can just show up out the goddamn woods, and act like they work here, bro. And they have stuff designed for them to do that. The rain pretty much can just do whatever the fuck they want to do. Here's an example. You see this little stupid motherfucker right here? he's Rain. He doesn't legitimately work here. He is not employed by goddamn Flying J. But if you'll notice what he's riding, and you see those little orange flags on that motherfucker, those orange flags are signifying that he's Rain. Okay? O-R-A-N-G-E. They use the color orange the most, signifying that they're Rain. Okay? So this retarded motherfucker don't legitimately work here. He's just out here riding his little fucking John Deere around the fucking parking lot. Okay? Letting them know that there is a man here. Like I told you, the fucking prices go up when men come around. If there's a legitimate man around, everything changes. The prices go up, fucking... All right, let me explain something to you. Do you know that at these truck stops, at Walmart, everywhere, you know they sell crystal meth in there? Do you know they sell crystal meth in there? All these motherfuckers can just go any fucking store, any truck stop they want to, and walk in and buy meth to fucking shoot. They've just changed the name of it. Coffee, donuts, chocolate. They can call it any goddamn thing but crystal meth. And these motherfuckers can go in and buy it anywhere in the goddamn world. But when a legitimate man comes around, they change all that. John Deere with these goddamn little orange flags riding around the goddamn parking lot so these motherfuckers understand what the fuck's going on. Oh, okay. It's because there's a goddamn man around. That's why he's riding a John Deere around the fucking parking lot with little orange flags on it. I'm going to show you something else. If you look at the top of this John Deere, you're going to see a light on top blinking. What is that? What do you call that? What do you call that? That is called a beacon. A beacon. B-E-A-C-O-N. A what? B. In service. They're playing with my connectivity again. Anyway, that is called a beacon. B-E-A-C-O-N. A B. So now, why does he have his beacon on? And I'm going to teach you some more art. What color is that beacon? Amber in color. Amber. A-M-B-E-R. A-M-B-E-R. Amber. Who is Am? That's Jesus Christ. Book of Revelations, he said, I am, but I am, but I am. Time and time again. So who is Am? Am is Jesus Christ. Okay? So what is a bee? I just rewatched this video. I just explained to you what bees were. Bees have blue eyes. So if I have a amber light on, what am I saying? Am bee. There is a am fucking bee here. All these people have sold their soul to LL. What is the opposite of LL? Am. LL is the devil. Bill is the devil. That is Satan incarnated. That's the devil incarnated in flesh. Okay? So there's two powers here. You have God, which is Jesus Christ, and you have Bill, which is the devil. That's LL. Okay? So if you're a B and you belong to Jesus Christ, what are you? You're an Am B, right? Okay? So now, what does the color amber represent? A fucking Am B. I am teaching you theology. I am teaching you the correct theology. I am teaching you, they're playing with my connectivity again. I am teaching you the correct theology. So when you pull in a truck stop and all of a sudden the truck drivers... So when you pull into a truck stop and all of a sudden all the truck drivers cut on their amber colored lights, what does that mean? That means there is a Am B here. Well, how in the fuck would they have known that? Well, it goes back to what I just told you. They are notified on their mobile device when a arc or a bee is in their presence or pulls in. Okay.